I'm Luke Hatfield. Alongside me, our Wolves man here at the Express and Star, Joe Edwards. Joe, we've just spoke to Nuno. First things first, some bad news, and it's the first really bad news we've seen in terms of injuries. Meriton Shabani is out for a long old time.
Yeah, real shame. Meriton Shabani, of course, making his debut for Wolves on Wednesday night against Reading in the Carabao Cup, came off the bench. And it was a reward for some good work for the 23s. Signed from Bayern Munich in the summer. Obviously see something in this lad. He's played twice for Bayern Munich's first team as well. But minutes into his debut, rather innocuously, just goes down, clutching his right knee, shrieking in agony. You could hear it from kind of all corners of Molineux. And our kind of worst fears have been confirmed. It's an ACL injury, and for anyone, even though we're not claiming to be experts in in medical things or anything, but it's widely regarded as kind of the worst knee injury you can get. Arguably only an Achilles injury is worse for a footballer. So it's a massively severe injury. He's only 20 years of age. So if you're looking on the bright side of things, at least he's got time on his side to recover. He's contracted for 3 years at Wolves, and I'm sure Wolves' exceptional medical department will look after him as well. Nuno's urged him to stay strong, trusting in the advice of the medical staff. But as you say, it marks the first time really that we've had a severe injury here at Wolves. Under Nuno's tenure, Bruno Jourdain, of course, got stretchered off in the game as well. Not quite as severe for him, thankfully, but it's still ankle ligaments. So it's probably going to be several weeks on the sidelines for him. I mean, put it into context, these players wouldn't probably be first team options every week. For Nuno, but nonetheless, you don't want players injured. And players picking up long-term injuries, especially young players. Who are showing a lot of promise. These two. So, best of luck to them. Of course, wishing them a speedy recovery. Yeah,
that's right. And it was a pre-match press conference for Watford. Watford, of course, not had the best of starts. They weren't great last week. 8-0.
Crikey, they were awful.
But I tell you what, Wolves can't take them lightly, can they?
They can't. You got to think there'll be some sort of response from that. You can't really get much worse than an 8-0 defeat, can it? So they'll be coming up with something. It'll be interesting to see whether they just set up shop and set up defensively and ask Wolves to break them down, because Wolves have struggled in that regard in the past when teams have just come to Molineux, sat back and said, right, it's up to you. When the onus has been on Wolves kind of so much, they have struggled to break teams down. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Neno actually said as well that aside from the Jourdain and Shabani injuries, they're actually dealing with a few small injuries going into the Watford game as well. Wouldn't name names, of course, but just interesting to see what kind of lineup he goes with. Of course, Saïs got sent off last weekend, but can play after serving his suspension in the week. Ryan Bennett played well in the week, though, so does he come back in? So there's a few selection pauses for Nuno.
Yeah, there is, and you got to wonder, who does he go with, Joe? I mean, if it was you, who would you be picking?
I think I'll go with Bennett. I've said it a couple of times. This is the team that, of course, beat Wolves in the FA Cup semi-final last season. Bennett plays in that game, and I think I'd kind of go as kind of a statement of intent, really, kind of a bold statement. Just play those players that played in that semi-final and show there's no kind of hangover from that, and hangover from kind of last season, really, because it's interesting with Wolves and Watford, because they're two teams that really kind of exceeded expectations last year. Wolves, of course, finishing 7th, Watford getting to the FA Cup final, and now they're the bottom two teams in the Premier League. So it is a really kind of interesting way of things how they've gone. Both teams would love a win, but you've got to think maybe Watford do go up defensively, just to kind of put that onus on not conceding after conceding 8 last week. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think if Wolves play like they did in that first half against Palace last weekend, I think they've got a very good chance. It was much more fluid. Everybody seemed kind of on the same wavelength, rather than kind of playing as defence, midfield and attack. It was much more kind of everybody knowing the jobs and more kind of fluid passages of play that we're used to seeing from Wolves. So hopefully they return and hopefully 3 points in the bag, because you want that in the bag sooner rather than later.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Joe. And lastly, you know, bit of bite between these sides, isn't there? It's become a bit of a rivalry.
Yeah.
Because you've got the comments between Troy Deeney and Jimenez. Of course, Deeney's not available to play, still having some surgery. But I tell you what, I mean, Wolves know plenty about Watford, and Watford know plenty about Wolves, even though there's a new manager in charge there now.
Yeah, they do. Nuno knows Kike, Sanchez Flores as well, from coming up against him in Spain, when Nuno was in charge of Valencia, Flores in charge of Espanyol. So it is an interesting one. I think you look at Wolves and Watford, I said it last season, there is similarities you can draw between the teams, a lot of foreign flair in both teams, but kind of a British kind of core to both teams as well. You look at Conor Cowdy at the heart of Wolves' defence. So you've got Craig Dawson in Watford, and Craig Cathcart as well. Ben Foster in goal. Ryan Bennett for Wolves. So there's kind of steady eddies in both teams, and kind of flairful, if that's a word. Foreign players, your Delafeus, your Pereiras, and then for Wolves, your Jotas, your Jimenezes. So they're pretty well matched. Both not high on confidence, but hopefully Wolves can, as we say, get the edge on this one, get those 3 points in the bags, and use it as a springboard to hopefully climb the table.
Fingers crossed they can do it. So it should be a cracker. Wolves take on Watford tomorrow. For all the latest on that one, make sure you stay with us, expressandstar.com.